Hey, how's everybody doing? This is Alexander Investment Insights, back at it with another video, and today I'm going to be going over some stocks. We're going to be looking at the S&P 500, Tesla, Apple. We're going to be looking at the oil sector, the airline sector, the marijuana sector, and some other stuff too, okay? So we'll start this video off looking at what the SPY did today. SPY, since Monday, there hasn't been much movement because of the lack of news. It's just really been stalled between our support of 513.30 and our resistance of 517. It tried to break this 517, but today it came back down and it hit another support around 515.50. If we go down to the 5-minute chart, we can see that overnight our price of the SPY dropped down from 17.50 down to our support at 515.50. Since then, it called back up in the morning to hit that resistance and then stalled there through the rest of the day. So SPY, ever since Monday, it's just been trading kind of sideways, really. Just been stuck between this support and resistance. Not really much to do on SPY. We're going to want to look out for tomorrow. I know they have news. I'm not sure if it's consumer sentiment or unemployment. But that's definitely going to move the market a little bit. So hopefully that could bring some nice plays for us. I'm going to keep all the levels the same right now. We still have resistance at 517. It has not broken yet. Support at 515.50 and another support at 513.30. Ever since these bearish candles, which came off of news from Israel versus Iran and things going on, we've retraced pretty well back up to the upside. So we could be possibly expecting more higher prices to reach this all-time high right here. Or this could just be a retracement back, and then we could keep going back to the downside. But really, I'm only expecting downside if we see some more negative news regarding wars or something really bad happens in some foreign conflict. But for right now, these are the level to watch: 517, 520.50, 513.30, and 515.50. Go on to the NASDAQ now. Also, the NASDAQ having a resistance at 18,100. That has not broke yet. We have support at 17,800. We're going to want to watch that. IWM resistance at 205. We'll change that to resistance really quick. It did not break that resistance. Oh, here we go. Change this. And so since then, today, it went back down and hit our support at 203. So we'll see what AWM wants to do tomorrow as well. QQQ hit our resistance at 440, and now it came back down to where it opened on Monday. We have support at 433. We're gonna want to see what QQQ does. This is just overnight. It came back down and it went up right back to that resistance on QQQ. So tomorrow is a really crucial day if we want to see if we want to break resistance or reject that resistance to come back down towards support. So all these indicators, SPY, NASDAQ, IWM, QQQ, they're all at resistance. We want to see if it's going to break that resistance. And if it doesn't break that resistance, then we could expect lower prices to the downside, right? Cool. You're going to want to keep your eyes on SPY every single day of the week. It's going to help you a lot with your trading career. A lot of big companies like Apple, Tesla, Meta, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, a lot of these companies are going to move along with the SPY to some degree. So it's always good to see what SPY is doing so you know how to trade intraday. And then we'll go on. We'll go to SQQ first. SQQ held support here, came back up. Now it's still stalled at this one area. We're going to see if it wants to cut down past support. SQQ is the inverse of QQQ, so whenever QQQ is bearish, SQQ will start going up, like you see. This right here had a target of $13. This right here means that QQQ was bearish. So since it was bearish, it was a good time to get shares on SQQQ. And what that did, it hit exactly our target right there. So right now we're going to want to see if this support holds for SQQQ or if it wants to go back up to higher prices. Then we might be able to get some share plays in, right? Cool. All right, we'll go to Apple. Apple holding this support right here. It hasn't wanted to break it ever since earnings. There's not much really to do on Apple right now. If you zoom out, it's kind of just been stalled on this support area, these two main support areas for a while. Hasn't really been any main breakage past this 200 area. So we're kind of, there's not too much good about Apple going on. So we're kind of bearish on Apple. We just want to watch the support at 180, and we have another support down here at 164. Tesla today breaking that support area. So now we can move our support. I see a greater support somewhere around 160. So 160 is our next support. We have this level down here at 150. If price could reach down here and it keeps this and it starts going back up, that's the indication that we were going to want to buy leaps to the upside, because Tesla has been bearish for pretty much 3.5 years now, right? Tesla's been bearish for 3 years. It hasn't had any like really good bullish upside movements that it's going to take it back up to these higher prices. So right now we're looking if this support could hold. This came up off of earnings, came back down, broke that resistance right here, is heading towards this next support. So we'll look at that. We have this price target 220 when Tesla does reverse back up to the upside and starts becoming bullish. But we don't know when that is and how long that's going to take. So Meta kind of at that resistance right now at 573.50. We're going to want to see if this breaks tomorrow. If this breaks tomorrow, we can expect higher prices up to, let's see. I see another resistance somewhere around 500. Not really quite clear, but there's another resistance at 500. So if we could break this resistance, we could expect some more upside on Meta, right? That'd be really good, especially since it came down a lot off of earnings. Google going up towards that resistance again. We're going to want to see if that's able to hold. Nothing really much to do on Google right now in terms of shares, but just watch for that resistance. Maybe you could scalp this in the morning to come back up and hit something like that. Microsoft hitting that resistance and coming back down towards right now. I have a support at 397, and we have 3 large supports, 397, 388, and 370. I mean, Microsoft has been going up steadily for a long time now. We haven't seen much downside on Microsoft in a long time. So I'm not saying that it's necessarily going to start going down within the next few weeks, but I do have these support levels here just in case things start bleeding, right? NVIDIA kind of, it's been going up since this low right here, but there's not really much to do. We have resistance at 930 and support at 880. These are all-time highs here. This stock is pretty high, right? So we're gonna want to see what it does here. It could have hit that resistance. It's coming back down to support, but not much really to do on NVIDIA. They do have earnings on May 22nd, which is in about 3 weeks. So we'll want to see how it acts off that. Maybe we could get some puts on NVIDIA or some calls. I guarantee that it's gonna move a big percent. So maybe with our strangle strategy, we'll be able to catch some of those movements, right? Going to Amazon. Amazon has resistance at 190 and support at 185. Not much to do on Amazon right now. This is an all-time high. So it reached that all-time high. That resistance came back down. So we might be able to see support hit. But yeah, that was a perfect hit resistance, right? We get onto the 5-minute chart. Boom. Best level is perfect hit resistance. Came back down, right? So we're going to want to see if Meta is going to be able to break this resistance, or if it's going to start breaking these supports now that it hit that all-time high and it rejected it, right? Cool, we'll go Netflix. Netflix breaking supports, right? All right, so Netflix breaking supports, kind of as expected. They're really bullish right now, even though they came down large off this earnings. They've been going up steadily for a long time, right? Like, November 2021, it had a huge crash, but ever since then, been going back up, right? And that was a big crash. That was from $700 down to $160, and since then, it's gone all the way back up to $618. So it hit that resistance. Let's see. Look at that. Look at that resistance. Boom. This morning, hit that resistance perfectly, rejected that resistance, and then came back down. That is a perfect hit resistance. That's why you subscribe. We give you the best levels in the game. No one better. This is not financial advice. Please do not trade anything you see here in the video. I'm not a financial advisor, etc. All right, so we'll keep that resistance here. We do have support. We still have support here we'll keep both these supports actually, 197 and 191. We'll see what Meta wants to do. Maybe they could break above this. level, but seeing that big rejections has been coming down, we're going to have to want to wait on Netflix right now. We'll go to AMD. AMD, really not much to do. It's just been going down since March. Had earnings, went down, held our support, came back up. So it's just between our support and resistance. Really not much to do on AMD. Intel also coming down. Probably going to reach our support soon. Disney coming down off of earnings. Really not much to do here either. We have resistance at 109 and support at 100. But this is some types of things that I'm looking at, right? So back in November, let's say January, this would have been a perfect time to buy Disney Leaps, right? Buying Disney Leaps right here because of that positive earnings, then guaranteed upside up to here to 122. Disney Leaps from here to here would have paid around 230%, right? So we're looking for those types of leaps on stocks like Nike, Nike. Nike is at, some pretty low levels right now. We're just waiting it to break some resistances and reach some targets on the upside so we can start getting leaps to come up to those higher levels again, right? Another stock that I'm looking at for leaps, this one depends on if Bitcoin confirms really, but coin could be a nice one for leaps as well. Not really doing much off of earnings. It's at its support right now at 204. I have this level down here because I might expect it to come down to 180 before it starts getting bullish again. So we'll just keep our eye on Coinbase and Nike in terms of leaps. I got another one here, Starbucks. Starbucks at super low prices. There have been a lot of negative news around them, considering like boycotts and things like that. So it looks like it's heading down to our support at $70. We have resistance at $80. I'm not really expecting much upward movement from Starbucks coming in the next few weeks, but eventually we're probably going to see Starbucks going up to those prices where it was at previously, right? Cool, all right. So let's check the oil sector. For the oil sector, a lot of these sectors, I'm only going to check one stock. You could check this one stock to cover the entire sector, right? So the oil sector is looking pretty good. This is one of Warren Buffett's main holdings, but it's looking pretty good since February. It's a slow mover, but it was going up steadily, and since then it hit our resistance. It's been coming back down off of earnings. They didn't really move much. They just broke our support. So I guess we can move support down somewhere here. So I'll move this. I'll put our support at $61 now, and I'll actually move our resistance. So this is resistance. I'll put resistance at 66. So now we have a new resistance at $66, a new support at $60. You might want to watch for this support to get hit on OXY. And the oil sector really covers a lot of stocks like Chevron breaking its resistance really. So I'll put another resistance right here at 164. And then I'll keep this support here because look at that. Price almost dropping, hit this support on one day and it came back all the way back up. So I'll leave this support here. But yeah, in the oil sector, there's stocks like Chevron, ExxonMobil, which is at its support right now, Valero, which is at its support right now, and petroleum, which is at its resistance right now. But all these are pretty much at their levels. We're going to want to see what they do if like Exxon and Valero could bounce up off these supports, or if they're going to break these. This will really show us what the future holds for these oil stocks. Then we'll go on to the airline sector. United Airlines Holdings. We got a resistance at $54 and support at $50. It's not really much to do here off of earnings. It really came up a long way, but then since then it's just been stalled, right? Came down here, hit our resistance, went up, hit our support, went up, hit our resistance, and hasn't been breaking either of those. So it's just been stalled between our two levels right here. And like Boeing hitting our resistance. It looks like it wants to come back up again and hits that resistance. We'll see what it wants to do. But on this stock like Boeing, we're really looking for is really fast movements like this. Off of earning, fast movements upwards. Off of earnings, fast movement downwards. It happens a lot with Boeing. Off of earnings, fast movement upwards. So we're going to want to look out for something like that. I'm thinking if this level breaks right here, we could definitely see Boeing up to 220. I'm actually going to turn this resistance to a target. So if this resistance breaks, I'm going to aim for this target right here around 212. So we're going to see if Boeing is able to break this. And then we might be able to get some fast movements up here to 212. So I'm keeping my eye on that. Really quick, Carnival Cruise Lines, that support right now has just been coming down recently with little retracements back up to the upside. Really not much to do right now, and earnings super far away. So we're just going to keep our eye on resistance. If they break this resistance, we could probably see more downside to probably around 1250, I'm assuming. So that's what I'm looking at for Carnival Cruise Lines. American Airlines, super nasty. There's really no play on American Airlines right now, right? It's just been going up, breaking weird levels. Nothing to do on American Airlines right now. But then that brings me into the gold sector. Check on Barrock Gold. Barrock Gold had a nice upward movement off of this earnings, and since there, it's just been stalled between our resistance at 620 and 1750, right? So we're going to see what it wants to do here. There's not really much that I could see on gold right now. It's also pretty nasty. And then we'll go to the banks. Banks like Bank of America. These are slow movers, but it's always good to check what they're doing because sometimes they see what the economy is doing, But right here between our resistance 38 and our support 20 or 37. So this is a $1 spread, and it could be stuck in here for weeks. It could be stuck in here for a long time. But I have another resistance at $36. So we're basically just going to want to see if the airline sectors, if the bank sectors are going to come down and hit our supports, or if they want to break this resistance. I'm kind of thinking, I'm not really sure if it wants to break this resistance yet. We're going to have to see. But yeah, banks, we got JP Morgan breaking our resistance. That's looking pretty good, actually. There's another resistance that I actually hit here today, but I'll move up this support back. I'll put this support at 190. We have a resistance at 195, and then I'll put another resistance up here around 200. 200 is another resistance right there. And then Goldman Sachs at all-time highs. It's just only been going up. Not really much to do there. PayPal coming down to hit that support at $63. Been stuck between these two levels for a week, or they're either going to want to see support get broken or bounce off support coming up to a new resistance. Hood had earnings today. And what they do after earnings, they went up. I actually bought calls of Hood before market close, so I'm super happy about that. I honestly thought they were going to go up a bit more. I thought they were going to go up to something around like 1950, but my strike price was 1850. And where's it at right now? It's above 1850. So I'm super happy about that. Wake up in the morning, get some nice gains. But other than that, we're going to want to wait for what Hood does. Has a resistance up here at 2050 and a support at 1650. We might see Hood go up. I expected these earnings to do well because of a lot of the inflows from Bitcoin. Since Bitcoin started going up, there would be a lot more people investing into apps like Robinhood and Coinbase, right? So they saw 250% gains, I think, of revenue or something, or unexpected. It was crazy, but it only went up, not that large of a percent. I'm pretty sure this is like 4% or something, like 5%, which is like still a win for me, but other than that, there's really not much to do on Robinhood until we break this resistance level. All right, then we'll go on to the marijuana sector. Stocks like Sundale Growers, they have earnings tomorrow, so there's really no play here until we see what they do off earnings. Kron also has earnings tomorrow. There's no play here. They're at our support, but we're not going to want to play them at all until we see whether they break this support or it goes off of earnings. Tilray making this a support now, breaking that support. So I'm actually going to take this level off. There's really not much to see on Tilray. It might come down to this support right here, right? It had a good shot up off of earnings, shot back down, brought that support, another shoot up, and then it's probably going to come right back down and hit that support again. Unless they find some type of support somewhere along here, then other than that, you could probably see that support get reached on Tilray. All right, then we'll go to the crypto sector. We got Bitcoin. So a lot of stocks like Solana, Ethereum, Dogecoin, these are all going to follow Bitcoin. And Bitcoin has been slowly just dropping recently after finding those new all-time highs. It's been dropping. We had the halving around 420. But yeah, basically I just have resistance at 64,000 and support at 56,000. Not much to do on Bitcoin until we start seeing higher prices again, right? So right now it's going to be like a decent area to load up on shares of Bitcoin or your shares of Ethereum and Solana. So when it does break up, you're not chasing price, right? You want to start buying when stocks are in pain, which is what I like to do, right? And then come down to some of the cryptos. We go like Solana, Ethereum, Dogecoin. These are all going to follow exactly what crypto does. These won't start going up until crypto starts going up, or until Bitcoin starts going up. So really just keep your eye on Bitcoin, right? And then we have some of the mining crypto stocks like HUT. Nothing to do on HUT right now. Mara has earnings, I think, tomorrow night, so we'll see what Mara does. Then we have Riot I don't want right now either, so really nothing to do on terms of the crypto stocks until Bitcoin confirms or until they confirm. MSTR has just been coming down slowly but steadily recently. Really nothing to do on that either. It's RKB. When Bitcoin starts going up, you could also see RKB going up. This is like a nice way to put like options on crypto or nice shares on crypto too. Pretty easy like that. It's like Kathy Wood ARK Investments Bitcoin ETF. And then what else can I add in here? We'll go like Snapchat. Stuck between our resistance and support. It hit that resistance, didn't want to break it, so it's coming down right now. I could probably find that support after that. Reddit breaking this today after their earnings and causing that resistance to be a new support. What did it do? It hit that target perfectly. We come down the 5-minute chart after earnings, hit the target, came back down, just been hanging out at a support, and it ended exactly at a support at the end of the day. So best level is knowing better. We got a lot of stalling out on DJT. Really nothing to do on DJT till one of these levels breaks. DoorDash off of earnings came down. It has a support at 103 and resistance at 120. But other than that, I don't want to make the video too long, so I'm going to end it there. I'm just going to thank you for coming. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday, and I'll see you tomorrow.